Yo, Cultural Confederates. So happy Friday. It's another Weird World News Day. Doing these Weird World News Days on Fridays now. And lots of news to get to. But first, I'm going to call it an honorable mention. We got to talk about this debate that's been going on here on YouTube, on social media, regarding Matt Walsh. By the way, welcome back to the channel. As I said, it's Friday. And thank you again for watching, subscribing, being a part of this thing called the Culture Confederacy. As you know, I have a lot of fun doing this channel. There are no rules on this channel. We don't use any fancy graphics on this channel. So it is what it is. One-take videos, all my mistakes. But an honorable mention here, Matt Walsh. There's this debate about Irish indentured servants. Were they treated worse than slaves? I would say that Matt Walsh is about 95% correct on that. Because yes, there were abuses with slaves, but there are also abuses with indentured servants, whether they be Irish, Chinese, people from the lower British classes, the Scottish, you name it. And in many ways, indentured servitude was like slavery. Actually, those terms were somewhat interchangeable, because you had slaves that became indentured servants, and indentured servitude was involving some type of contract, or involved some type of contract, rather. And with these contracts, a lot of times they were extended without the indentured servant's knowledge. Many didn't survive the contract. They could be bought, sold, just like a slave. Young white women were often taken advantage of. So yes, in many ways, you had indentured servants that could be treated worse than slaves. Slaves were seen as valuable property, whereas the Irish, the Chinese, Scottish were seen as dispensable. But the odd thing is, slaves, the Irish, the Scottish, lower British classes, they were all lumped into the same socioeconomic category at that time. But by the 1860s, slavery had evolved more into a system of contracts, at least in the South. And there were laws on the books, and I've talked about this before, as in the case of Georgia, where it was against the law to maim or kill a slave. Likewise, there were laws on the books in places like Georgia where it was against the law for a plantation owner and his slave to conspire to commit a crime. Now, there's a really good resource for this. I've talked about this as well. The Georgia State Slave Laws at Georgia's State Archive site. I highly recommend people go and check that out. So we got that out of the way. So yes, Irish indentured servants could be treated as worse as slaves. Okay, we settled that argument. They also portrayed the Irish as drunken monkeys on posters. People just hated other people back then. So at any rate, let's get to our World News Day, our Weird World News Day. Say that 5 times. So Harrison Rufin Tyler, grandson of the 10th president, is dead at 96. This is a weird story. This guy's lived a long life. Now, he was the last of 3 generations spanning nearly the entire history of the United States. When his grandfather was born, George Washington had just become president. So Harrison Rufin Tyler, grandson of the 10th president, is dead, aged 96. Here's one for you. Happened in Berlin. A show inside a cathedral featured raw chickens in diapers. The German president was in the audience. Oh! This is over at the AP. Performance inside a Catholic cathedral in Germany earlier this month that featured raw plucked chickens wrapped in diapers on stage, and the country's president and the local archbishop in the audience has prompted the church and municipal leaders to apologize that the show, quote, hurt religious feelings. Now, the title of the show was Westphalia Side Story, a spoof on West Side Story. It was part of a May 15th celebration to mark the 1250th anniversary of Westphalia, a region in northwestern Germany. Now, video footage showed one woman and two shirtless men singing Fleisch ist Fleisch, which means meat is meat, apparently spoofing Austrian band Opus's 1984 pop song Live is Life, with Sis and dancing with the Dead Chickens on stage in front of Paderborn Cathedral's altar. Oh, awkward. And did you hear about the lady who went into labor on the air while giving the news? We'll get into that one here in a little bit. So let's talk about Trump's big, beautiful bill. Well, Elon Musk leaving the White House. Elon Musk and Doge. And this is over at Axios. So Elon Musk is leaving the White House. And he claims that Doge, Department of Government Efficiency, saved $175 billion in taxpayer spending, though an outside analysis, according to Axios here, estimates the verified savings are closer to $16 billion. But the one big beautiful bill, which passed the House last week, is projected to add $3 trillion to $5 trillion to budget deficits over the next 10 years. So we saved all this money. And now we're going to pass a big, beautiful bill, which means we're going to spend more money. Ain't big government great? Whether it's Trump, Clinton, Obama, you name it, Bush. Now, even using Musk's most generous estimate, those Doge savings would amount to just 6% of the projected increase to the deficit from the bill. So we save, let's say the writer, $16 billion, but we're going to spend $3 trillion to $5 trillion with this one big, beautiful bill. Way to go, Trump. Of course, we got the Sean Diddy case going on here. Sean Puffy Combs, Diddy Combs, whatever his name is. And an awkward moment came this week, I believe Thursday, this according to Fox News, when one of his, I think his representative, Mia is her name, posted something to her social media account, and she was examined or cross-examined by, let me find the attorney's name here, by Brian Steele. Asked if Mia said anything about the rapper violating her in the post she shared to social media. Mia responded, never. But another post from Mia's personal social media account from April 6, 2016 was shown. And the photo was of the last night, that's in quotes, rapper and Jimmy Levine. I think it's Lovin, L-O-V-I-N-E. And Maya wrote, quote, the Diddy door has finally been christened. And Steele asked if Mia posted a photo of the person who ruined her life. Mia replied yes and pointed out Diddy was her boss and the person she was with all the time. But things got really awkward when Steele asked how someone could forget about waking up to a man on top of them. Oh! I don't know, this guy's just laying on top of me here. I don't know how he got there. I don't know if I was drugged. So that's out there. Craziness with the Sean Diddy, Sean Puffy Combs trap. And they were chasing cheese in England. Have you seen this one? This is over at the AP. A German YouTuber tripped, stumbled, and tumbled his way to victory for the second year running at one of Britain's zaniest sports contests. Now, this happened, I believe, last week. Tom Kopke, I think it is, of Munich, was king of Cooper's Hill in the annual cheese rolling competition as runners plunged down a 200-yard, 180-meter, perilously steep pitch in pursuit of a speedy wheel of double Gloucester cheese. Kopke was the first to reach the bottom of the hill behind the cheese. He's the big cheese. Big man on campus. And finally, Albany, New York, again at the AP. Local news co-anchor Olivia Jacquith went ahead with a 3-hour morning newscast even after her labor contractions began and her water broke. You go, sister. That's a trooper right there. She is going to stay in that anchor chair and tell you the news, even if her water breaks. In fact, she's going to give live birth. She's going to give birth live on TV. Give live birth. There you go. Keeping viewers updated about the coming birth of her first baby. But we do have some breaking news this morning. Literally, co-anchor Julia Dunn said at the top of the CBS 6 Albany broadcast, pardon me, Wednesday morning. So this happened Wednesday morning. Olivia's water has broken. She is anchoring the news now in active labor. Early labor, she replied Jacquith, who was 2 days past her due date. And Jacquith stayed on the air as Dunn kept recording on Facebook Live. She said, I'm happy to be here and I'll stay at the desk as long as I can. But if I disappear, that's what's going on. You go, sister. You report that news even if it makes you go into labor. You give that baby, or you give birth to that baby live on the air. A rating winners for sure. With afterbirth. So that is the weird news of the day for you. Any odd stories, any weird stories, we cover them here on the channel. That's going to be our Friday edition. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, you know what to do. You can follow me at Instagram, hashtag Jason Composes, because I write music in my spare time. Go to X, Culture Confederacy at Culture Confed1 on X. Now you can find me at Substack. This is the Culture Confederacy saying, peace out, stay safe, everybody. God bless this thing called the United States. I'll catch you next time, and y'all have a great weekend. Take care.